Hey. Happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. Focus working? Yeah, it's working. Hey, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, lights are working. A lot of stuff is working. I figured, well, I didn't figure it out. I have a workaround. So anyways, if you're following this saga, my lights have not been working. I figured out why right before the stream. I was testing it out and I figured it out. Hue API, the Hue API that I used changed the protocol that they use. I don't know. It used to use universal plug and play internally, UPnP to discover the device, and they switched to MDNS. And then I was like, sweet, I figured it out. And then I started realizing, like, why am I even discovering this thing anyways? Like, I know the IP address of the thing, so I hard-coded the IP, and it started kind of working in Kubernetes, and then it wasn't working. So anyways, I'm running it here. I'm debugging it locally. Oh, I'm glad I said that because I just hit a breakpoint. Here, let me disable all my breakpoints in code. There we go. So I'm running it here in VS Code, and I'm glad I looked over there because I hit a breakpoint. And so everything's running local, so it's like super fast. Like everything's working, lights are working, the Pi LED back there is working, everything's working. Anyways, long story short, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can earn channel points by just being my point in my channel. It's totally free, it doesn't cost anything. You just hang out, you get points, and then you get to change the lights in my room once you get enough points. So anyways, hey, thanks for the raid. Thanks for the raid. No one with the raid and with I couldn't see it, but thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Hopefully that'll appear in my list here soon. Anyways, all that aside, how's it going? Like I was saying in the beginning, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. The stream's pretty laid back. We kind of chill and we kind of talk tech. I was gonna say the lights aren't working. But we talk tech and we ask questions and we talk tech. I'm trying to get my focus. I don't know what's up with my focus. I'm just gonna go here. But if you have something you're working on, you're excited about, you want answered, or just want to talk about that's tech related, throw it in the chat and let's talk about it. If you're not new to the stream and you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. There were a ton of events here in the beginning, and there was just another one there too from Blade. Thank you so much. I'm going to go through them here in 1 second. So, but what I was saying, like, if you want to share something, throw it in the chat. We'll talk about it. I'll start from the top and work my way down. And so I'll talk about what I've been working on really quick, just because, like, hey, I don't want to keep talking about it throughout the whole stream, but it might come up because it's for me, it's a tough topic, or should say a complex topic. So for me, it's been ZFS this whole week and leading up to. I've been planning on moving my data set from my old TrueNAS server, old, quote unquote, and it actually is old. My TrueNAS server is OG. You want to know how old my TrueNAS server is? FreeNAS. It's actually the one I set up in one of my very first videos. I haven't wiped it ever. So I've gone from FreeNAS to TrueNAS Core to TrueNAS Scale. Like, it's OG. Like, I don't need like I don't even want to delete it, but I will. Anyways, I've been trying to figure out like how to move this data pool I have from one server to another, and for me it was kind of complicated. Like, I set it up a little complicated. I used RAID Z2, but it's a huge like iSCSI drive along with some other shares and stuff like that. So I had all these struggles trying to figure out how to get a snapshot. Couldn't take a snapshot because I didn't have enough disk space, it said. Not sure exactly why. I think on my video today, 45 Drives was commenting on it, so that's awesome. Sorry. Anyways, long story short, I ended up just doing the most the most draconian way ever of moving my data or expanding my pool, and that's just pulling out each drive, plugging a new one in, and letting it resilver and letting it auto expand. So I don't know. I'm sure there are better ways, and I know a lot of people are going to say use mirror VDEVs. I totally get it. I understand mirror VDEVs, but I don't want to lose half of my storage. And I'm going to be honest. Like, am I being cheap? Maybe. I don't know, but the TCO, the total cost of ownership for mirroring everything and losing half of your data is kind of high. But then you might say, damn, well, look what you had to do. You had to replace all 6 drives in order to grow your pool. True. That is true too. So I don't know what's better. I know that Mirror VDEVs gives you a ton of flexibility, especially when growing. You only have to grow by adding 2 at a time, and that's awesome. But I didn't set mine up that way to begin with, and I didn't really honestly want to set them up that way now because I had an odd number of drives, so I'd end up with 1 anyway. So I don't know. Maybe I just kicked that can down the road. I feel like that's what I was doing. Anyways, I just had to make it work because I needed to get through this migration. I was like so over it. I mean, I was in Discord and I don't know, Tuesday night, just trying to figure out how to do this. Why won't snapshots work? Finally, I was just like, Chemical Ivory and I were going back and forth on different things to try, and I was just like, done. I'm done. I'm just gonna resilver because I gotta move forward. Like I can't be hung up on this for another day. So anyways, I'm sure you guys are ZFS experts or storage experts. I'm not. I'll be the first to say I'm not. Just like networking, I'm not a networking expert, not a storage expert, but I like to play with it. And so I learned a lot. I think I have more questions now than I have answers, which is a good thing because I didn't even know the questions to ask before doing this. Now I have a list of things I need to research myself and do. Anyways, so that's what I've been working on. That's a ton. I've been also working on a couple other things you'll probably see here shortly. And I'm just continuing to move things and migrate things and shuffle things around in my home lab. I feel like I'm shuffling the deck because I've had my new server for a long time. I picked up some new hardware I've had for a long time, but I'm finally able to shuffle the deck because these projects are getting done. However, I'm waiting on 1 dongle, one cable that comes tomorrow from Amazon, and after that, then everything will go full steam ahead with everything that I've been working on. But I'm waiting on this one piece, and the Micro Center locally doesn't have it, so I have to wait on Amazon. And when I ordered it this week and it said Sunday, I was like, no, because it's like the linchpin on everything I need to do, or this building block I need to build on top of. And it's seriously, it's like a Molex cable to split some Molex. Like really, it's like a cable from 20 years ago that I thought I had 1,000 of, and I don't. And they're hard to buy locally, and Micro Center doesn't have the exact one I want. So anyways, let's talk about you guys. Enough talking about me. I'm talking a lot, a lot going on in my head. Anyways, everything I talked about ZFS, if you're curious, like what I went through and things I tried, I released a video this morning, and that was kind of my journey. It was actually, I wasn't going to release it at all. I was just like, that sucks. Like this doesn't work the way I thought it should work, and what am I going to do now? And then I think people on Twitter and YouTube just said, just do it anyways. And I was like, okay, I'll do it anyways. So anyways, let's get into chat, and let's go through all these events. Thank you so much. There was a hype train in the beginning. Thank you so much for that awesome intro on the hype train. Thank you. I'm going to go back in the events. I'm going to go right back to right before I started. Hannah, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. DNA Hardware, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Homelab New, resub, tier 1, 27 months, 3 months straight. Thank you so much. 27 months. Can't believe it. How's it going, Tim? Homelab New, how you doing, man? How's it going? I think you're in the UK because I think earlier you asked, is there a stream tonight? And in the US, for the most part, I mean, it's mid-afternoon, getting closer to evening on the East Coast, but I'm guessing you're in the UK. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Sigor, how's it going, man? Sigor, resub, Prime, 24 months, 2 years, man. Thanks so much, Sigor. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the great content. I really enjoyed the Proxmox email video last week. Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one to do. It's again like these things that I have all these ideas. I put them in my backlog, and then when I'm feeling kind of like stuck on the current video, I go into the backlog and I'm like, yeah, that seems doable this week. I'll do that. So it's kind of what that one was, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. I'm glad you enjoyed watching it, and it's pretty awesome. Now I get alerts when things happen in Proxmox, and with my new Proxmox server too. I added it to the list of things I do every time I set up a Proxmox server. I even added it to my documentation. I wish I could go back and edit that video and say, oh, by the way, there's one more thing, but now I do that on every Proxmox build. So Let's see. I'm gonna have to refresh my things soon. Let's see. Seagore, I said that. But anyways, Jenna Ryan, resub, tier 1, 26 months. Thank you so much. C Sharp Fritz, rated. That's who the raid was from. Now I can see it. C Sharp Fritz, thanks for the raid. Dude, 102? Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry I couldn't see that and it was buried under there. Thank you so much, dude. 102 viewers. Thank you. Thanks for being here. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. And I've been babbling this whole time. But if you've never been here before, I'm Techno Tim. That is my name, I guess. My real name's Tim. But I talk about tech stuff. I talk about home labs. I talk about networking, home servers, writing code, automation, you name it. Just anything tech that I'm doing for the week. And that's kind of what we all talk about in this channel is what we're working on in tech. And we just kind of hang out and have fun. And that's what my channel's always been about. So if you like tech, you like home tech type stuff, if you like kind of doing enterprise at home, sprinkle in a little bit of hacks and secret sauce, that's my channel. So welcome. And I do apologize. C Sharp, I like it. .NET. I used to write some .NET. Dude, thanks for the huge raid. I appreciate it so much. And I apologize I didn't see your name in the list when I was going through it. So hey, I'm getting up there. Oh my gosh, so much activity. That was probably why there was so much activity. I was like, ooh. Let's go, Sheer Jar. Ha. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Blade, how's it going, man? Blade WDR, resub. Tier 1, 5 months, 4 months streak. Hello there. How's it going, Blade? Good to see you, man. The Devil Kid, Tokyo Rack, Drum, Dr. Mumba, Chase. Oh, that one's Chase. Chaseko? That's what I'm going. Chaseko, base Model Honda. Interesting names. Dexter DJ, thank you guys all for the follow. And Italian dressing. I like Italian dressing. All right. I love just plain names like that. Like Italian dressing. Hey. Did you use a name generator to pick it? No, I'm not picking on it. I like it. I love it when you have these very specific things and you give them very I don't want to say generic names, but common names. And it's just like, oh, I never thought about that. Italian dressing, thanks for the sub, tier 1. Thank you so much. It's like CouchDB. Like there's a database called CouchDB and you're just like, what? CouchDB? Okay, I love it. And then Nateroni Pizza. I like it. My friend's name's Nate and we call him Nateroni. So I like it. Resub Prime. 2 months. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into stuff. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, if you have something you want to talk about, throw it in chat. I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. Oh my gosh, there's so much chat, so I'm gonna try to get through it. And also, if you're new, usually runs roughly an hour. We're about 15-20 minutes in, so about 40-45 minutes. You don't have to be here all day, just about 45 minutes. Run this kind of like a meeting, except for I'm always a little late and I always end a little late. So it is kind of like a meeting at work. So all right, let's see here. Let's see who was here first. Crack Kitty, yes. Maybe. I need to verify because Xavius D, yeah, so all right. So the first one I picked up on my second chat client was Crack Kitty, but Xavius D was here first. He was here at my time, 2:28. He saw me testing my bot over and over, and he was like, man, you're burning your points, but secret is out. I have infinity channel points. When I look at my channel points, it says infinity. So that's the way that I test my bot. I test it in production. So anyways, Xavius D was here first, but let's get into chat then here. So Crack Kitty, first person. First to type first, as people had already posted things, making me the real first, cause I said so. How's it going, Crack Kitty? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. Yakto, how's it going? That sounds legally accurate. Hey Yakto, I owe you a response. I saw your message in Discord last night asking me if I wanted access to your OpenStack instance. The answer is yes at some point, but last night I was editing my video, going crazy, and I was like, I had to put my blinders on, so I apologize. I owe you a response. The response is, yeah, man, at some point I would love to. Xavius, how's it going? All right, let's get in here. Let's look for a comment that it's hard to read this chat client. There Troba. Finally getting to see the stream when I have free time. All right, howdy partners, how's it going? Let's see. Bro hacking. Techno Tim, what's up? Crack Kitty. What am I working on? Yeah, what are you working on? Let's see, Crack Kitty. What am I working on? Glad you asked. I'm adding LEDs to my kitchen They're Govee RGBs, and they will be controlled by Home Assistant. Awesome. And motion sensor and some other cool automation based on who's in the house and what time of day. That sounds awesome. That's my style. I love it. I love it. So cool. Govee RGB. You probably have a motion sensor like you mentioned. Then you probably have some kind of more than motion, maybe not more than motion, but some kind of location sensor. So maybe if you and your girlfriend, fiance, wife are in the house together, then it will say, hey, like maybe I do or don't need to turn these lights on or off depending on the time of day too. Yeah, it's awesome. So many things you can do with Home Assistant. I'm super stoked because I'm giving Home Assistant one more try. I'm going to do it the most complicated way ever. I'm going to run the container and I'm going to run it in Kubernetes. All of that aside, I think I'm going to give it another try. Mainly because I've been using a few other things that do what Home Assistant already do, but not as well. One, for instance, is my Home Bridge, which is a bridge for HomeKit. And I may as well just use Home Assistant as my bridge for HomeKit devices. So then I get the rest of the stuff that comes along with HomeKit too. So I think that's the way I'm going. I've set it up in Kubernetes before. I've set it up in Docker. I've set it up with HAS.io. I've done it all. I think I'm going to give it another shot now that I think I got this Kubernetes thing kind of figured out. So we'll see. We'll see. But good to see you. Good to see you. Kalgar, moin, moin, moin. That means hi. Hello or hi in German. I think that's it. South Germany or North German say moin. I can't remember, but I know it's German. Good to see you. Good to see you, Kalgar. Let's see. Logalipe. I can't say that. Sadly, you can't flash them to Tasmota, which I think Tasmota is the open source version of the firmware for those types of devices, so that you don't have to use there. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So your data is being stolen. All our data is being stolen anyways. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I get a lot of flack for using Philips Hue, but that's part of the reason. I guess I'm paying for a company I trust, but I'm not gonna lie, it is more expensive. And is it worth that? I don't know, because they're still stealing my data anyways. But so anyways. Loggy Light. I have 2 Govee LED strips in my room, and I think I'm being spied on. Yeah, you are. You are being spied on. Hey, Dark Shapiro PR gifted a tier 1 sub to Urban Monkey. Dude, thanks for gifting the sub. Urban Monkey, enjoy a gifted sub from Dark Shapiro. Looking over here, making sure my bond is still running, and it is. Okay, it is still running. But there was a weird Twitch error, but whatever. Franchise. Let's see what Franchise is up to. How's it going, man? Two things. This is what you're working on. 2 things. One, setting up a simple reverse proxy. Well, that's kind of like an oxymoron. Simple and reverse proxy. No, I'm teasing. Setting up a simple reverse proxy for my simple reverse proxy. I want to expose my Jellyfin server on my website. Cool. So you want to stream media from your website, or maybe you just mean you want to give people access to your Jellyfin server. Any tips for the most basic way to do this? Nginx? I don't want to host Jellyfin on Kubernetes. I totally get you. Let me answer that one first. You can use Nginx. Yes, you can use Nginx Proxy Manager. Some people call it NPM, but the only NPM that there really is in this whole entire world is Node Package Manager. I'm kidding. But a lot of people in the homelab community call this thing NPM. It's Nginx Proxy Manager. That's gonna be easiest, I will say, because you can run it in a container. It has a UI. It's great. It's great, especially if it's your first time running a reverse proxy. If you want to get into something a little bit more advanced, I run Traffic. I'm a huge fan of Traffic. I have 3 instances, I remember now, in my environment, and it's highly configurable. It can be used for TCP, UDP, and then HTTP, or it can work on a couple different layers. Anyways, it can be used like a traditional load balancer or a reverse proxy. So, and then you get the whole 9 yards with getting certificates and stuff like that. So if you want to do Traffic, a lot of people in our community have used Traffic, and there's a ton of help and support. Same with Nginx Proxy Manager. Both do the same thing in different ways. So, okay, number 2, having issues setting up Windows 11 VM and Proxmox. I saw that this morning too. I apologize. Following your tutorial, but getting an error during boot from the ISO. Yeah, so there's a couple of tricks there. I mean, one is to make sure you set up your virtual TPM on Proxmox. I saw in your screenshot you had it, and then the second piece is to make sure you use UEFI instead of BIOS. And I saw in your screenshot you also had that. I'm not entirely sure then. So the other thing I would suggest is make sure you have the latest Proxmox, 7-ish something. That feature was in beta when I made that video, but it's been out for a while. I still have my Windows 11 virtual machine, and I powered it on the other day, and it was fine, just to update it. But I would say maybe just try burning it down and recreating a new one with a new TPM. Make sure that TPM is connected and it's on storage that it can communicate with. I don't think it would let you add it otherwise. And then same thing with the UEFI instead of BIOS. Make sure that's on some kind of storage it can access. I don't think it would let you create it otherwise or start it. And then go from there. Those are my suggestions. I apologize. I would burn it down and try it again. And check to make sure the Proxmox is up to date. Swedish Hermit, how's it going? Data? Never heard about it, boss. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I almost lost all mine. They're Troba. Just cleaned up the homelab rack for you folks. Yeah, let's see it. Throw it into Discord. Yeah, throw it into Discord. I'll have a setup post tonight. There might even be a fat cat in the picture. All right, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. If we have cats along with home labs and dogs too, I'm all for it. Throw it in the home lab channel. Let's see it. Let's all see it. We'll be nice. We won't pick it apart. Franchise, how's that? Dude, thank you. Appreciate it, man. 200 bits. Thank you so much. How's it going, man? You're still doing the 100 days of home lab. I see it. But yeah, try all those things. If not, I'm happy to lend another eye or a virtual hand, in Discord and see what's going on. But like I mentioned, it's got to be one of those things. And if it will make you feel any better, I could even try creating a brand new one myself. Using the latest ISO from Microsoft too. I could try that too. Crack Kitty. Log life. Yeah, I know. I'm one of those not much to hide losers. I understand the fallacy in the argument, but it's what I got going on now. My home network is segregated, and honestly, if anyone wants to know my lights are on or off, they can have it. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of an open book. For the most part, like, do I care that someone know that my lights are on and off? Most of the time, no. Where it gets kind of muddy is like, can the government of whatever that, wherever that company resides actually get that data too? That's where I'm kind of like, oh, okay, that's where it gets weird. Not that I'm thinking they're going to do something, but at the same time, it just gets kind of weird for me. But I know exactly what you mean, Crack Kitty. It's kind of like, does someone, do I really care that someone knows that those lights are on back there? Not so much. Speaking of, let me make sure this guy's running okay. All right. I think someone did light mode, but it's not fully light mode. So, yeah. Anyways, maybe I'll toggle it again. Or they did dark mode? I don't know. I think it's... Oh, it's dark. I can tell. So it didn't go fully dark, I think, for the last one. Actually, I can see them. How do you like that code? Dark mode turns on some of the lights. Anyways, I'll figure that out. Let's see next. Loggy Light. Do you need domains, subdomains? Don't work with duck DNS. Yeah, for sure. Good question. Do you need domains and subdomains? I think both traffic and Nginx Proxy Manager can handle both. Ruan. We have power outages in South Africa, 2x, 4-hour outages per day. There goes my home lab. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're just flashing the power on you guys. Yeah, that kind of stinks. Yeah. You either got to go super low power or like hybrid cloud and fall back to the cloud. Most of the time, that's not going to be feasible for most people because, they have their media and stuff at home. So it's got to, you either fall back to ultra low power or fall back to the cloud or, yeah, that's tough. If it happened to me for 4 hours a day, I'd be toast. I'd be out of a YouTube job. Not that it's my job, anyways. I'm going with Mire Lome. That's what I'm going with. After following you silently, I finally got a new job as a sysadmin in a small company. So thank you so much. Hey, I didn't do it. You did it all. But congratulations, sysadmin in a small company. It doesn't matter, small, big, whatever. You got the job. Congratulations. That is awesome. Congrats. That is awesome. And like, I love hearing about people getting new opportunities, especially if it's a better opportunity, which it usually is, or if it's like brand new to IT. I love it. I love it. Like your breakaway or your breakout position. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, dang. Oh, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? What is going on? Oh my gosh. Is that 100? Oh, wow. Yowza. Yo. Wow. Thank you, Anonymous. Is this real life? Yeah, I think it is. Oh my gosh, there were so many. I think that's 100. Wow, thank you so much. That's gonna go off for a long time. So if you don't like that link noise, I apologize. Oh my gosh. And oh, he's still on Mega Man. He's still backlogged big time. So my Raspberry Pi is going to be backlogged for a while, and it's going to be even backlogged some more because of this. Wow, Anonymous. Dude, seriously? 100 gifted subs? Oh my gosh, 100 people. If there are 100 people even in here right now, I never look at my numbers. I have no idea. Don't tell me, because I try not to ever look at how many people are in the channel. Anyways, long story short, if there are 100 people in here, enjoy your gifted sub from Anonymous. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's crazy. Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't even know what to say, but that is way too much. But thank you. I don't know. I just smile. I think my cheeks are gonna be sore by the end of this stream. They usually kind of are, but now they really are because it's like I'm gonna be smiling so much. I need to like. Man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Man, that is incredible. Thanks. It's huge. Thank you so much. I actually will turn that down just because like it's gonna go probably for the end of the stream. It's got to do that 95 more times. I'm gonna let it roll. Oh man, thank you so much. I know I said thank you. I don't even know what else to say. Thank you, Anonymous, whoever you are. But I appreciate it. That's wild. That is wild. Thank you. You know who you are. I don't. But man, thank you so much. Dude, here comes the dudes and mans. Anytime something happens and I don't have words to say, it's usually dude followed by man, and sometimes it's like dude, man, dude. Oh man, okay, let's man, thank you. Loggy Life, you can't have a subdomain. That's my domain. Don't steal it. You can have subdomains. You can get certificates for subdomains if that's what you're talking about. I see what you mean. You can't like get certificates for subdomains hanging off free domains. I think that's what you're trying to say. Maybe that's what I'm inferring or getting from your message. Yeah. I mean, my recommendation would be spend the $10, $12 wherever you buy domains and just get a cheap one. Buy the cheapest one you can, and then you own it. And then you can do whatever you want. You can get certificates for it, or you can just have it just for funsies and have it internal. It's yeah, I would go that route. I mean, even if you're going to spend the 10 or 12 bucks, totally worth it to own your own domain, no matter what it is. You don't even have to tell people what it is, but to have your own domain, to be able to play around with certificates and DNS and external DNS, it's super fun. It's super fun. Oh man, what do I even say? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Xavier D, I prefer to be Dom over the sub. I prefer the Dom over the sub. Wait, the Dom. Document object model? Wait, I'm missing something. I prefer to be the Dom over the sub. I don't know what you mean, man. I don't know what you mean. I'll follow. Wrong context. Yeah, I'm like document. The developer in me, the web dev is like document object models. Wrong context. All right, let's go. Loggy Life. Where do you guys recommend to get your domain? Speaking of, Freedom doesn't work now. Freenom. Some people go through pork bun. That's what they're saying. Freenom. Pork bun. I'll tell you where I go. I go to Google Domains because it's tied to my Google account. Super easy to renew. They give you protection and a minute. I can never say and a minute. They keep it anonymous. That word is always so hard for me to say. But I typically go through Google Domains. You can find it cheaper. Absolutely, you can find it cheaper from a lot of different places. I mean, it's Namecheap's another one that's super cheap. Pork bun is like bottom of the barrel cheap. So it's totally up to you. They're all great. And just make sure you turn on auto renew. I know you think like you never want to auto renew subscriptions, but if you're gonna buy a domain, unless you're just kind of squatting on it just in case, turn auto renew on, because the last thing you want to have happen is that you'll lose it for 12 bucks or whatever it costs, $8, and then you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble if you have certificates and all of that. So totally not worth it. One of the few things I say to turn on auto renew, and that's domains that you purchase through your registrar. Just turn it on. I know it. If you didn't want the domain, you accidentally buy it this month, and you're like, shoot, I forgot. It's a lot better than the other way around. You know, this domain that you were using and you didn't renew it, and now you've lost everything. So, anyways, that's my domain registrar PSA for the day. Hun Solos, what's up? How's it going? What up? Let me see, Xavier D. I know you saw me message this morning. AM Strum Saturday for us vampires. Yeah. I mean, I was on Discord. I mean, for me, it's not early, but I was on Discord. No, I don't know. I was talking on Discord. Let's say that I was talking on Discord a little bit earlier than I normally do. Yeah, it was like 8 here. I just had to do some stuff, and you were messaging me, and yeah, why not? But morning to you too. God, it's so bright. It is so bright when it goes into light mode. Kill some time before time kills you. Missed 3 streams because of dollar stuff. Current projects. One, learn vCloud. Yeah. 2, read capable work and private racks. Yeah. 3, migrate from hypervisor A to hypervisor B. Would love to know which ones. 4, check out infrastructure management systems like SUSE, Manager, UBU, UAUB, Foreman, Red Hat Satellite. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Foreman I looked at a little bit because I was interested in some bare metal provisioning, and I was like, oh, what's Foreman all about? Looks pretty cool. I'm always curious what people are using for bare metal provisioning. I mean, most people, if you're a Windows shop, you're going to use Windows deployment services. But what if you're a Linux shop? You know, what are Linux folks? And I know there's the cloud, and I know if you're using the cloud or you're using something, you could probably use Terraform, or if you're using OpenShift internally, and then you probably have an API to do that. But what if you don't have a cloud? You're not in the cloud, and you are a Linux shop, and you don't use like OpenShift. Like, what do people use for bare metal provisioning? I know there's Metal as a Service from Canonical, same makers of Ubuntu, but like, are people using that? I don't know. I've always been curious. Like, I know how to provision VMs because you can just use Terraform or anything like that, or you could even go Ansible or Bash and shell scripting. But what about bare metal? Yeah, I'm always curious about that, what people use. Hard-coded, how dare you? I know. And I hard-coded it to the IP too. I mean, my IP on the my Hue bridge is it's a static lease. And I should just create a DNS entry for it. That would have solved this whole thing, a DNS entry, and then I have a static entry pointing to that, and then it's like, okay, I can change the IP to anything I want now. But yeah, I hard-coded the IP. It's totally hard-coded. And man, speaking of that, I got to keep a better eye on this, because if my VS Code debugger crashes, which it did during, I think, that gifted sub, while things were, yeah, there it goes. While things were, while those gifted subs were rolling in, I think it honestly crashed my code, which is awesome. I love it when someone crashes my code, because that means I got a bug somewhere. Anyways, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I wrote all the code that runs the bot in this channel, that also changes all these lights, and it's running in my Kubernetes, and I'm having a problem with networking right now. That's probably going to keep flashing forever. Why not? And so because of all that, it's actually running on my local machine right here. And I would show you it, but my code's kind of ugly. I should make it stop flashing, or not. Let's see. David Kopp, why not do a pod to do the scan and update the device IP info into Redis or the DB? Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah, I could store it. I do like I could, and I have a database attached to this. That's a very good point. I'm actually going to make it stop here in a second. I could do that, but I thought, like, hey, I'm going to be super dynamic, like totally stateless, like my state, like for this container, I was like, I don't want any state. I want to be stateless. So when this pod stands up and my code stands up, the first thing it's going to say is, hey, broadcast and discover, like find that Hue API, find it, send out UPnP or now MDNS. Now it's hard-coded, but anyways, send out a broadcast. When it responds, figure out its IP, and then do all the things. So that's the way I rolled for like years, and like I guess Hue changed that, and then this node library I use has a beta version that then changed that, and I didn't know. So I'm, 2 weeks of like what's going on, and I keep remembering or forgetting to look into it, and I finally, right before the stream today, kind of figured it out. So I am gonna make that stop though, because that's a little much. I don't even know what theme we are on. Were we on dark mode or light mode? I'm going to light mode. How about that? Is that gonna work? Yeah, it did. All right. It's all manual now. Well, I still have APIs and UIs, but I'm clicking buttons now instead of events triggering it. So, yeah. Versus hard code. Yeah. So David, I answered that, but I was just trying to be stateless and trying to do auto discovery and then build off of that. Because if I always did auto discovery and it always worked, I would never have to know the IP address of it. So it could change and do whatever it wants, and then it would be fine. And I kind of like that, but at the same time, if it's a static IP, like, why not skip the whole discovery piece in the beginning? But that was kind of my safety net, just in case, like, in the future, I change the IP for whatever reason. Then and then I'm like, why aren't my lights working? And then, So anyways, note to future self, years from now, when I change the IP address of my Philips Hue hub, I will need to change the hard-coded IP that's in code. Oh, man. Let's see. Man, so many things to work on, so little time. Yeah. Your camera has ADHD, no focus. I know. It totally does. No focus. Yeah, I have the opposite of that, and it's like I over-focus on things sometimes, and I go too deep on them, so... let's see. Helium Factory. I like it. I saw your YouTube video on migrating your TrueNAS cluster. Quick question. Why didn't you stand up the new TrueNAS cluster and replicate from the old one? Yeah. Good question. So at least when I was doing this, that's kind of what I wanted to do at first. But then I was like, I don't want to transfer 20 terabytes over the network. I'll just move the drives into the new one and then use ZFS replication based on a snapshot to just replicate it, and it would be like infinity times faster because there's no network involved. Because on one of my servers I only have two 1 gigabit NICs lagged, and then on my new one I have 10 gig, but I don't have 10 gig on the other one. Anyways, long story short, well, once I moved it in there and imported the pool, I couldn't take snapshots of the thing, and I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. And I don't really still fully understand why. 45 drives is kind of explained it. I need to really kind of dig into it and see if that matches my configuration. But then I thought, well, okay, well, that's fine. I'll just do an rsync or a copy or whatever. I'll just copy, one pool to another. And then as it turns out, like a majority of my storage that's being used is an iSCSI drive or iSCSI, and that's all block storage. So there's like nothing I can copy. Like I can't, there aren't files, on disk because it's block storage. So anyways, I couldn't figure it out. And like I mentioned earlier, I was trying to figure it out one night in Discord and I couldn't figure it out. And Chemical Ivory was throwing out some ideas. I got some good logging commands out of there, so thank you for that. And then I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna do it like I said, the draconian way, and just like pull every drive out and let it resilver. I know that will work. I don't know, what happens at the end when it's done, if it'll auto expand, but I keep hearing that this works, and so I guess I was trying to prove out this theory that I always hear, because everyone says like, yeah, it should work. But I've never seen anyone do it, so I was like, I'll just do that. It'll make for some content, I guess. And plus, I had to get it done. Like I couldn't go to bed another night thinking about it and thinking about what am I gonna do tomorrow night after work. I don't know about you guys or you all, but when I get something in my head, I cannot stop thinking about it. I cannot stop thinking about it until I figure it out. And sometimes I'll figure it out in my head 3-4 times in all the different scenarios and why it won't work or why it will work or what I can try if that doesn't work. And that's how my brain works. I'm always like that. So when I go to sleep at night, if I can go to sleep, that's what my brain does. And so I was like, if I don't start a solution now, I'm going to think about it all night. I'll wake up, I'll think about it, I'll be at work, I'll think about it, and then as soon as I get off work, I'll attack and try to do what I've been thinking about for the last 18 hours. So anyways, long story short, that's so I had to figure out that night, and that was my quick fix. Even though it took a long time, that was my quick solution, even though the elapsed time was a lot longer probably than anything else. So yeah, no, great question. I still don't fully understand all of ZFS, so I'm definitely not an expert. Tom Lawrence, he's definitely an expert. I wanted to use a lifeline the other day and call Tom, but I don't want to bug him for my personal stuff. I'm sure he would be like, yeah, man, let's figure this out. I just don't, I don't know. I have a hard time reaching out to people and asking for help because I just don't want to bug people with my problems. So I'm sure he would have loved it, but I just was like, well, I don't want to be in like, I don't know, using a lifeline to hit up Tom Lawrence when he's doing stuff. Urban Monkey, I will be building my VMware Tanzu cluster soon. 3 nodes using Lenovo small form factor M92 boxes. Yeah, bare metal. Here we go. Yeah, small ones. So you're using 3 nodes, Lenovo, VMware Tanzu. I don't know anything about Tanzu. I'm assuming it's their clustered container solution. I don't know, but it sounds awesome. And I love small form factor stuff too. I have servers in my rack, but I also, have Intel NUCs, and I love it. I love both of them. Joy Bites. Can you say when I would want to use XFS instead of ext4? I'm working on building a file server with Open Media Vault, just RAID 1. I honestly can't. I don't know if I can answer that question. Like, what are the pros and cons? I usually choose ext4, just because that's kind of like the default. But I'll be honest, without Googling it, I couldn't tell you, and I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. So, and if you can't find an answer shortly or by someone who knows it, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who know it, toss it. We have a storage channel in our Discord server, and I'm sure someone would love to help you out. And if you put it in there and no one responds, I'll figure it out with you later too. I wish I knew the answer. I don't know the answer. I don't know the use case for XFS. So. Clinkaroo, love your channel, thank you. Still a noob in my homelab journey. Hey, we all are. But now I have 30 or so Docker containers. Hey, that's not a noob. 30 Docker containers on an unraid server? Come on. It's gonna get out of hand in a good way. I hear you. I'm the same way. Yeah. Once you start doing containers, it's just like, what else can I get? What else can I pile on to here? It's super fun. I love it. I like. In my brain, I think about like Docker containers like add-ons and mods for games. Because sometimes on games like Skyrim especially, like I would spend so much time like modding the game that I never really played the game. Containers, I kind of do that too. I'm just like spinning up containers, and it's almost like distro hopping. Like you think that there's something always better out there, and like the next time I try this, it's gonna work this time. And yeah, so I know what you mean. You're totally not a noob. You're running Unraid at home. Most of the people in the world, if you said I'm running Unraid, would have no idea what you're talking about, especially if you said you're running 30 containers. So I wouldn't say you're a noob. So it's awesome. It's fun. It's fun for sure. Hun Solo, knowing what you know, where would you start if I were a new home labber? Yeah, so if I could push a big reset button, if I could push a big reset button, yeah, what would I do or what would I know? That one's tough. I'm getting notifications. I apologize. Oh my gosh. So since I silenced stuff, I'm not seeing new stuff. So I don't know if that's new stuff or old stuff. Okay. Anyways, real quick, let me get caught up on events. Dude, PC Geek. All right. Yeah, I'm way behind on events because I muted that so I could see what was going on. Real quick, Brommel. Nick 2, Choi Lee, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. PC Geek, resub, tier 1, 28 months straight. Dude, thank you so much. Holy cow, 28 months, amazing. Keep up the great work, Tim. PC Geek, thank you so much for everything. He does so much for our community. It's incredible. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Sorry, these are late. D0508, Jangtron Flabron, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Voronsky, how's it going? Has resub Prime 4 months. Thank you so much. The most inspiring streamer to me. Well, thank you. I truly appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. I should just say thank you. It's hard for me to get compliments sometimes because I fumble like I'm fumbling now. Appreciate it, Voronsky. It's kind words. Amateur Wizard and Strict Machine. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. I'll try to keep an eye out over there. I don't want to turn the alert volume back up because it's still cycling through the 100 alerts from before. So anyways, so going back to here. So if I had a huge reset button, what would I do different? That's tough. That's tough because I feel like the more that I've learned and the more that I've grown, the the like smaller I want to make things, and I don't mean like less complex or anything like that, but like kind of physically smaller, but less things. I don't know. It's kind of weird. You know, I had a huge disk shelf. You know, I thought I was going to expand, and then I used that for a long time. It's great. But all of a sudden, now I have a server that has enough bays, and I have higher density disks. So I'm like, cool, I can get rid of that, move stuff in here. And then, you know, and then I have an Intel NUC, and I was like, hey, that's running some workloads. Well, now that my server, my new Stornator is running Proxmox and a virtualized TrueNAS, now I can move some stuff in there. So I've just been consolidating a lot of stuff. And I think in the beginning I went real wide, not knowing what I needed. Yeah, I think we all did. You know, I got a Dell R710. I think we all did, and server rack and stuff like that. And now I've kind of consolidated. I did buy a bigger rack. Yes, I did, absolutely. So I can't say I'm getting smaller. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I'm just tightening stuff up. How about that? I used to have a ton of loose ends. Now I'm tightening stuff up, and I'm giving everything I plug in a hard look, even before I think about buying it. So, and I don't know if that's great advice, but I would just say do the best with what you have and don't expand until you absolutely need to. I don't know if that's great advice, because I expand quite a bit. The other piece, I guess, of advice, or if I could do it all over, is, and I know this isn't a popular answer, but I would probably go all in with Kubernetes earlier. I know that's like, what the heck are you talking about? And you know, it's never, and there's no shame if you're not running Kubernetes. But for me personally, you know, I did this kind of Docker thing, and I sprinkled Docker all over, and then I had Portainer, all these separate instances running, and then I set up all of these, you know, reverse proxies everywhere, which then I created all these firewall rules. And I was basically trying to like rebuild Kubernetes out of Docker, but with my own, you know, network know-how. And, you know, if I could do it all over, which I'm there now, so it doesn't matter. And I learned a lot along the way. I would just do that earlier, but it's tough. I'm not going to lie. It's tough. It's still tough for me to figure out Kubernetes stuff. It's huge. It's complicated. It's, you know, it's a system for machines. You know, it's not a system for humans. It's 100% a system for machines. So maybe it'll evolve more to be a system for humans. We'll see. But right now it's a system for machines. So there's like a lot of things you need to learn and know about how the machine operates and what commands this big machine wants. So, and I know a lot of companies are making that easier and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, that might be a ton, you know, after reading this question now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I maybe I gave you too much to bite off. So my advice for anyone just getting started is use what you have. If you have an old PC or a Raspberry Pi, use that machine, put Linux on it, put Windows on it, put something on it, put it in a closet, take the keyboard off, take the video card out or turn it off, no monitor, 100% headless, and just work with it remotely. I think just doing that one thing, just keeping a headless machine somewhere, will help you grow exponentially, whether it's in Windows or Linux, because what you start to learn is how to work on things remotely, which is kind of the cloud or anyone working from anywhere. So that's a huge skill to learn. Like if you're new to doing this at home, I would say take that keyboard off, take that monitor off, maybe remove the GUI and go terminal only, because you'll learn so much. You'll learn so much, especially if it's Linux. You just be like, whoa. You could say the same for Windows too if you're gonna use PowerShell. But I would say, like, yeah, that would be my one piece of advice. Build a machine, put it in a closet, terminal only. Terminal only, and look like a hacker when people are coming by your desk. You're just like, yeah, all you know. But I think just doing that, you'll learn so much. You'll learn so much, and whether you're going to learn Bash or Z Shell on Linux or PowerShell or just DOS on CMD on Windows, you'll learn so much, and it's so awesome. And it's, you know, if you start to learn the terminal, then you can build on top of that and then learn how to script. Okay, well, I know how to do all these terminal commands. I'm so tired of doing them all. I'm going to write a script that does it for me. and you just evolve from there. So anyways, I don't want to spend a ton of time on here. I kind of went off in the weeds, but that's my beginner's advice. Throw a machine in a closet, give it an IP address, and work on it remotely. It doesn't even have to be a big or expensive machine. Like I said, an old PC, an old Raspberry Pi, your machine from 10 years ago will be more than enough to start to learn about how to work on machines remotely. Let's see. Lagman. 1. Finish setting up VLANs for my IoT devices. Awesome. Congratulations. That is huge. That is huge, huge, huge. And I bet you feel a huge weight lifted off you. So now they can only steal data on one network. I'm kidding. Not really. But yeah, no, that is huge. Like after putting in VLANs and having a VLAN and dedicating all your IoT devices to one area, you probably feel it. You feel so much better. Why? Because it's like, okay, now these machines aren't trying to discover everything on their network in this huge broadcast storm of like hoping something will reply and doing whatever they want to do with that data and send it off wherever they want. At least now there's just like one VLAN where there's a big IoT party and that's where they're going to hang out. So, but yeah, it's awesome. So congratulations. That's huge, huge. Started working on my own custom build boiler controller using Arduino. Awesome. With internet hat and display. The program will use OpenTherm, awesome protocol to communicate with the boiler instead of the on-off thermostat we had in our homes. Thus, I'll have more control over the settings and statistics. That is cool. Just had to write a few lines of code. Yeah, that is awesome. I hope this will love our energy bill. I hope this will lower our energy bill because the prices are skyrocketing right now in Europe. Yeah, I totally agree. They've gone up in the US, but not like in Europe for sure. So yeah, that is awesome. And it's so cool because you'll have more control and you'll have more data. And with more control and more data, you can be more informed and take more action. So yeah, it's a win-win. And plus you got to write some code and learn how to work on Arduinos, and yeah, that sounds awesome. That's awesome. I haven't gone to that level. I think the lowest level thing I've gone to is as a single board, like a Raspberry Pi. So pretty awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. homelab new. One does not simply while trueness. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. 18-wheel Ray, how's it going, Ray? I was scared for your resilvering drive. I was biting my nails. Yeah, I was biting my nails too. You could probably see in that. No. Someone mentioned like, oh, your fingers are all bloody. Yeah, I have this nervous habit where I bite my nails when I'm nervous, and then I tear off all the skin. I've done it my whole life. I don't know why I do it. I still do it. My wife's like, what the heck are you doing? I look down and my hands are all bloody. Anyway, that's besides the point. It was kind of nervous for me. I was a little bit nervous too. I knew in the back of my head, like, hey, I've done this before on a single drive. I've had a couple drives fail before, and my old pool should be okay. But and those were new discs too. Those were all new discs. Like I hadn't put any kind of stress test on them whatsoever. I was like, okay, we're really going to stress test all 6 of these discs. And it turned out okay. So yeah, it is kind of hair raising. I will definitely say. Reason Tech, I have an NF share connected to my Proxmox. It shows as disconnected, but if I ping it from the shell, it works. I've had that happen. And shows that it's connected for a short time. Used to work perfectly with UDM. Pro started switch with PFSense. Interface has all IPv4. I'm stumped. Thoughts? Okay, so NFS share connected to my Proxmox. I have this. I have this at least once a month. It shows it's disconnected, but if you ping. Is your NFS share on TrueNAS? If you're saying yes right now, I'm happy. So if your NFS share is on TrueNAS, sometimes I have to go into the service and toggle it off and then toggle it back on. And just by doing that, boom, like instantly, like Proxmox is like, oh, I have NFS again. It's a sound. I can read down there too. Synology. I would try the same thing. So I would try the same thing and cycle the service. Another thing is like, there's a difference between NFS v3 and v4. I can't remember. I think I use NFS v4 on Proxmox or v3. It's one or the other. One won't work for some reason and one will. So yeah, I would try that. Reason Tech. One, just cycle the service real quick. Just toggle it on and off on your Synology. If you can do that, I assume you can. And then see if you can try a different version of NFS. Because like, everyone wants the latest version, but I've noticed that sometimes before doesn't work with things. It didn't work out well. Like I had a mismatch in versions when I was doing the NFS storage class for Kubernetes versus what Proxmox wanted, and I couldn't get them both to agree on a version. So I think I took out the NFS client provisioner for Kubernetes because I don't need it anymore. And so I don't know what version I landed on. But yeah, try that. But for me, it's when that happens, I know right away. When I don't have my NFS share, which is where I back up all of my VMs. I know right away. Go into TrueNAS, toggle the service on and off, and it just magically works. It's like instantaneous too. There's like no discovery or anything. As soon as I click that button, in the corner of my eye, I can see like all of my virtual machine backups refresh right away. Raid Z123 for the win. Yeah, I know. Dom CRN. I have 2 old super micro servers with 36 drives each. Wowza, that's a lot. The Nobo. I love that you say Mobo. That's a blast from the past for me because I always used to say Mobo too. The motherboard, proc, etc. is ancient and inefficient. Have you ever tried to connect the backplanes directly via SAS backplane to an external SAS card and use it as a SAS expander? I'm thinking I could throw away all the internals, save on power and heat generation, and just expand my TrueNAS BusyBox 72 drives with 2 cables. Any thoughts? Yeah, I would try that too. So you're basically saying, hey, the compute in here is old, but I love the backplane, and I love that I can have 36 drives in here. And so you basically want to turn it into a disk shelf, like I have. No, I totally get it. I would try it. I would try it. I mean, what have you got to lose? I mean, you want to get rid of it anyways. It's going to cost a lot of money to get another huge, I assume it's at least for 36 drives. You're going to have to buy a huge system. So the alternative is super expensive. The other alternative is just keep doing what you're doing, which you said is expensive for electricity and generates a lot of heat. I would try it. I would say go for it. Because if it works, you win. If you lose, you're still in the same boat that you are now. But I like it. You're basically just going to say, I'm just going to turn this into a basically a JBOD that connects directly to something else. I like it. I'm sure it's possible. I haven't done it, though. Sounds awesome. You have to let me know how that turns out. Round. I always get this wrong. Ruan. 45 Drives did a nice video on YouTube about ClusterFS and ZFS. Yeah, I got to check it out. Yeah, 45 Drives is really knocking it out of the park with their content lately. They really are. They're putting a lot of time and effort into it, and I'm glad they're here. To create this content because I get to learn about stuff. I get to learn about Cluster, ZFS some more. I have a lot to learn about ZFS, but then also I also get to learn about Ceph, which they're really bullish on Ceph, which is awesome. Like you should be. It's pretty awesome tech, and so I got a lot to learn, and I'm so glad they're creating content and putting it out there. It's unfortunate that their channel doesn't have a ton of views, but I get it. They're a new channel, and they just started creating content regularly. It takes time. So that's probably a good reason to just go out and sub to them. If you haven't subbed to 45 Drives channel, this is not sponsored by 45 Drives or, by the way. But yeah, absolutely, go sub to the YouTube channel. They're putting out great content on stuff, and it doesn't matter if you do have a device from them or don't. They're talking about the things we talk about: Proxmox, Ceph, Cluster, TrueNAS. They have it. So pretty awesome stuff. And they even clustered 3 Steam Decks with Ceph. So so they're doing some wild stuff too. But yeah, if you haven't already, yeah, absolutely sub to the YouTube channel. And this is just a PSA for anyone. If I used to be stingy with my subs. I used to be. I don't know why. I had no reason. I just thought I never broke the seal of subbing to people until I started creating content myself. And then I realized that's a signal to YouTube. This person's putting out some stuff. I'm watching it right now. While you're there, just hit the sub button too. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about any creator you see on YouTube that you watch the videos and you got some value out of. Just do it. The algorithm's going to figure out whether or not those videos surface to you. A sub is just one signal to YouTube. Doesn't mean you're going to see everything they put out, because the algorithm finds videos for you, whether it's them or someone else. So anyways, that's my PSA. If someone's creating content and you watch at least 30 seconds of it, just click the sub button. Loggy Light. I'm working on moving my ISP router to an old laptop using OpenSense with EAP 245 AP. Nice. Okay, so moving your router to an old laptop running OpenSense, sweet. So yeah, it sounds like a good job for it, and you have a built-in UPS. Awesome. Okay, so then I ordered an 8-port easy managed switch from TP-Link. All right. Really excited about learning about managed switches. Yeah, it's great once you start being able to do things like VLANs we were just talking about earlier. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty fun. It's pretty awesome. And and then you're gonna have to start figuring out, firewall rules internally. But that's fun and relatively easy too. So yeah, awesome. And then 3, want to move away from the 2007 PC I have as a server, currently running Proxmox with TrueNAS and some Docker containers in a Debian VM. Awesome. That is awesome. 2007, yeah, that's up there. That is up there. That's what, 15, 16 years old. Ooh, yeah. I mean, sometimes you can't go wrong with older machines like that. Like if you can get a decent amount of RAM in there, right? And you can, it's low power, hopefully, for a desktop. And you could get some decent fans in there, probably pretty quiet to begin with, and then throw a couple SSDs. Sometimes it's hard to beat that, because sometimes that's all you need is quad core at the most, for some of the workloads. But it depends on what you're running. But it's also fun to upgrade too. Really quick, TCP Cyber, Skull Crusher for Life, Namor 90, and MX Droid. Thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Oh, I think I can turn my alerts back on. We made it through the 100 alerts. That was incredible. Oh, let's see. Cough, Nuck, Cough. Yeah, I have Nucks. I'm a huge fan. Xavius D. I'm not a storage expert. I just play one on Discord. Hey, yeah, and you do a fine job at that too. I'm the deal maker, always finding deals to waste money on, even if I don't need it. I hear you too. I used to wheel and deal, and now I'm kind of like a wait for a sale. Maybe that's wheel and dealing too, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and it's fun to like trick out the thing that you have. Like if you have one server, a couple servers, a rack, it's super fun to go super deep and customize everything. I mean, I know I'm going through that right now with one of my servers. The part that I'm waiting on is so I can add another 2 SSDs to a server, and those SSDs are going in a cage that fits in a PCI slot that doesn't plug in. It's just a carriage for those SSDs. So I'm getting wild too, but I don't know. The long story short, at the end of the day, I want all of my Proxmox nodes to have the same RAID 10 or striped mirror ZFS pool on every one of my servers, so that I don't have to worry, does this one have 500 gigs or is this one not mirrored? I want them the same throughout, so it's easy for me to migrate things back and forth and do live migration and stuff like that too. I mean, you need ZFS on the device to do a live migration, and so this one doesn't have a ZFS storage pool for the VMs originally, but that will change tomorrow. I hear you though, man. Is Ryan I'm going with Isran Networks. Thank you for your videos. They help a lot. Thank you. Thanks for coming here and thanking me. I appreciate it. Cluster, cough. Yeah. Cough, nut. Oh, nut cluster. Oh, yeah. I know. You spotted it. Loggy Lipe. And also, I want to use the EAP 245 with multiple SSIDs. Can I place them each in a separate VLAN? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good call out there. Yes. Well, you should be able to. So on that device, if you can create multiple SSIDs, absolutely. But you'll want to make sure on that device that if you can create multiple SSIDs, that you can tag those packets with a certain VLAN number. And that's where it gets really cool. I didn't even talk about this. It's one thing to segment your network, your internal network. But if your Wi-Fi supports it too, awesome. But you'll have a lot of SSIDs broadcasting, totally fine. But that's how I have mine set up. I have an IoT wireless network here. I have a cameras wireless network here, and those bind to those VLANs. Like the IoT VLAN binds to my wireless VLAN, my wireless IoT VLAN, and same for my cameras too. which is pretty cool because, you know, most of my IoT devices are wireless anyways. Some of them are wired. But yeah, it's pretty awesome if you get VLAN set up to then broadcast and attach those VLANs to that SSID too. I'm probably using all the wrong terms, but that's how I have mine set up. Yeah, it's super fun. It's super fun. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about, oh, how can I change my network? For some reason, I'm always thinking about how can I change something. I don't know, like my server rack or my network, and sometimes it's just like I think about everything I have going on. I'm like, is it optimal? Is it confusing? And those two questions I ask myself all the time. And if it's, you know, no for either one of them, then my brain's just like, how can I make it optimal or not confusing? At least for me. Other people, yeah, absolutely. They're like, I have no idea what Tim's got going on in his house. For me, I got it all down. I should write it down sometime just in case I get hit by a bus or something, so my wife knows what to do. If I get hit by a bus, here's what you should do. Shut this thing down. The end. No, it's kind of morbid, but at some point I should probably write that stuff down just so she knows what to do and I don't leave her with that package if something happens to me. Loggy Lab, good idea. I'll look around for a NUC. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of NUC. I know there are lots of low power, smaller devices. NUCs are one of them. Protectleys are one too. I mean, there's so many. The AMD ones that are coming out are also pretty awesome. The Honeybee, I forget what it's called. There's another device that's AMD based that's super cheap. Same there. So yeah, low power device. I'm a huge fan. I think I can get by with lots of, I don't know. There might be a future where I can get by with lots of low power devices. And then I'll start treating my physical machines like cattle as well. Like buy the same device, same specs, same everything. Let my stuff run wherever they want. And you know, and then maybe I can get by that way. Who knows? See Diablo. Right now I'm working on 4 Raspberry Pi and an old laptop. Yeah, there you go right now. And it's probably doing everything you want and more. Yeah, it doesn't need to be much. And it can be just one remote machine. And for most of the things you can do, I mean, within reason, you can get by to learn about Linux, to learn about web hosting, to learn about code, to learn about a lot of things. So it's pretty awesome. That was that, Tim. I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna ignore it. Yeah, I know. So I'll go back to this comment. So earlier, a couple of people have spotted in some of my videos that there's something new in there, and I was wondering how long it's gonna take because it's been in there for a couple shots, been in there for a couple social media posts. But anyways, long story short, yes, I do have a NUC cluster. Yes, it is rack mounted, and yes, it's awesome. But more to come on that. So it is pretty, it's pretty fun. Gonna figure some stuff out. I gotta figure some stuff out. I gotta learn it so then I can teach it, and hopefully I can teach it this week. So we'll see. But it's super fun for sure. Let's see. M-Trip, I'm here. Thank you, Loggy Lipe. Let's see. Reason Tech. I'd love to see more tech channels that show the channel ownership working through some of the problems live. I'd learn a bunch, not just about how you do it right, but what your kinds of problems are and how you come up with them and fix them. Plus, you'd learn problems are normal for everyone. Yeah, I agree. It's just, no, I totally agree. Like, learning from people's, like me, I learn from my own mistakes. I learn from other people's mistakes. I'm sure people can learn from my mistakes too. You know, and why sometimes it's hard with content creation, right? Because you plan, like before you shoot the video, you plan a lot of this stuff out. So in your head, you have this idea of how it's going to go. And so you actually write, if you write your content ahead of time, you write your content ahead of time according to that plan. Most of the time, there is no plan B. So if something doesn't go to according to plan, then you just got to wing it. And that's, to be honest, that's what I kind of did this week because I was like, this didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I wanted to use ZFS replication and do some perf testing and see how fast it was going to go. And, you know, I had all these ideas and I had a lot of my script written out or a rough outline and I had to switch it up. So it's tough. Yeah. And so anyways, I can't comment on all, you know, creators, but at least for me, when I go to record it, I usually have tested it a few times and I know it's going to work. most of the time. But for something like this is something where I just got to test in production. I don't have another 20 terabytes of stuff laying down, so if laying around, so if something goes wrong, then I just got to figure it out. So, but I agree. It's Reason Tech. Hey, thank you. Is that Reason Tech? Oh, sorry. That was D Panesso. Hey, how's it going? Resub, tier 1, 26 months, 20 months, 26 month streak, 2 years, 2 months. I can maths today. Hey Tim, how's it going? D Panesso, thank you so much. Anyways, Reason Tech, yeah, it's maybe some of it has to do with that, is because you plan your content out ahead of time and you kind of have, I don't know, a plan of how it's going to go, and you put in some mitigation in case some things go wrong, and if they go wrong, then I don't know, change course. But anyways, it's just tough because like I don't know, sometimes when I start winging stuff on camera, it just it lacks on the storytelling, and it just turns into a collection of random stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully it wasn't that for everyone today. But anyways, I'll try to do it more. I'd love to do more live stuff like this. I mean, I've torn apart things before on stream, and I'd love to do that more. I gotta fix that camera back there, but I'd love to tear stuff apart and tinker stuff. It's super fun to do that. I love the 2-for-1. I love the 2-for-1 when I can get some work done and get people involved. That is awesome. 4K Bomb. I just finished my Proxmox home server build and am just taking a short break before setting up all my desired services. Awesome. I'm really happy with how it turned out, since my main board really wasn't nice to me with its IOMMU grouping. Yeah, been there. Awesome. So new Proxmox server, taking a short break, got all your services, so you're able to pass stuff through. But then, yeah, so sometimes IOMMU, or your devices that you want to pass through, they group them, and so you have to do some wizardry to like ungroup them in config, and it's challenging. I've done it before because if you have a NIC that has 2 ports, that's going to be grouped together, or if you have a NIC that has 4 ports, that's going to be grouped together as one device. And so sometimes you want to split that up and give each one of those individual NICs to a specific virtual machine, but it's one PCI device. So it's tough. I've done it before very early on. But yeah, that was exactly what I did. I split up my quad NIC that was on my Dell R710. Not fun, but awesome once you get it. Skater Durf, longtime YouTube watcher, first time catching you live. Love the content. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Ruan, but always great to end the Saturday with Techno Tim in the live stream. Thank you, Ruan. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, guys, I've gone a little bit over because I'm having a ton of fun, but I do have to kind of wrap it up, mainly because, just because. No, my wife and we're actually gonna go out to dinner with a friend, and we're gonna go see Avatar 2. I don't know if it's gonna be any good. I'm excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. I like the first one. So we're gonna see Avatar 2, and I'm running a little bit late, and I'm running a little bit over. So, but anyways, man, thank you guys so much. There was so much going on, and first of all, I do apologize if I didn't get to your comment. Today was kind of an anomaly because I'm only halfway through chat right now. Usually I'm a good like 75% through chat by the time I end, and I can usually kind of go through those really quick and see if someone wants to share something. Today I'm just overwhelmed with all the comments, which is a good problem to have. It seems like, but for me, I start to feel bad because I'm like, I feel bad because there's probably people waiting, like, hey, is he gonna read my comments? So I apologize. Anyways, I start to feel bad. Anyways, I'm getting all mushy and stuff. Thank you guys so much for showing up, for chatting. This is, I think, the most chat I've ever had in my my chat ever, and it's amazing. So thank you. There was so many follows, there was so many resubs, there were so many first-time subs, and then there was the anonymous gifter of 100 subs. Dude, thank you so much. And there was bits as well, so I really appreciate it. But most of all, yeah, thank you guys for just being in the channel and chatting. I'd be very bored if no one was in here and chatting. I'd still hang out, but I wouldn't get to talk tech. And I look forward to this every week. People are like, hey, do you sometimes get bored of going live and talking? I'm like, Heck no, I don't. I get so many ideas and I get to nerd out for like at least an hour on all the stuff I can't nerd out with in public. Like, are you kidding me? Like this is this is like the dream. To be able to nerd out with people who know what I'm talking about. It's really is the dream. So I appreciate it. Yeah, again, I appreciate you being here. If you haven't joined already, you should absolutely join our Discord server. We are so close, I think, to 8,000 members in our Discord. I would love it if you join. The numbers don't mean much, but it's a big milestone, I think. So if you haven't already, you should join. You can find links like below or do !Discord, or just go to discord.gg/technotim, which means we have a vanity URL because we're a partner Discord community. Discord believed in what we had going on. They said, we like your server. You guys can have a partner server. So it's pretty awesome. So it's pretty incredible. And, I see messages every day like, wow, this Discord server is different. And I try to pin them or highlight them in the new homepage. I'm not too familiar with how that works, but I try to pin them mainly because like I see it often, and I want to just remind people that, hey, when they come to our server, it is different. You have people who care, you have people who will help, and you have people who are passionate about this stuff. So anyways, Chilaxathor, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Anyways, I'm rambling and I'm getting all mushy again. So anyways, thank you guys so much. Have a good evening. I will be back next Saturday for sure. And I'll try to have something out for you this week. Maybe it might include some nut clusters. We'll see. Have a good night. Be good to each other, folks. Take care.